Well, good evening and welcome to your Carson City Fire Department's first annual award ceremony and end-of-year celebration. Before we begin, I'd like to recognize Supervisor Bagwell for being in attendance here. We have the mayor had a double commitment, as did several of other supervisors, but we very much appreciate Supervisor Bagwell for being here this evening. I have a few words prepared, but first I got to say, wow. This is, I'll break from my remarks to say this is pretty awesome. It is just fantastic to see everybody here tonight, and this is a special night. This event was made possible through various donations that our department receives throughout the year. It was paid for by them, none of it out of our own city budget. It would also not be possible without the passion and the help of a few key members of our organization to bring this together. And if I could ask Shelby Price, Lorelei Barr, Jason Danon, and Sam Saunders to please come up here. Oh yeah. Please. So these four were instrumental in securing the location, putting everything together. I've never seen ironing boards at a fire station before, but I saw that yesterday for the first time. And so Shelby, Lorelei were absolute rock stars in getting this together. Chief Danon was voluntold, I think, to put this on. And so I told him, here's what I want to see. And I had a vision. And I said, now go with it. And he says, well, what do you want? I said, whatever you want. It's your show. And so Chief Danon, well done. And to Sam Saunders, he's secured our after party. For those of you that aren't aware, we have Living the Good Life secured for us this evening. So all of you in your rented suits, please change before you go there. And then we will head over there after the close of this evening. So one of the things I'd like to award each of you. This year, we brought in one of our new traditions in the organization, and that is a challenge coin. And that challenge coin is given by me as the fire chief for outstanding performance or significant achievements or excellence in their job. So on the front of it, it has our mission, which is service with pride, commitment, and compassion. And on the back, it says from the Office of the Fire Chief, and it's an Outstanding Service Award. So I'm going to what we call coin each of you. So thank you. So tonight is a very special night. We're going to recognize many significant individual accomplishments and many team accomplishments that have occurred throughout our year. But let me be clear, none of these accomplishments could have been achieved without the support, the encouragement, and the love of our families and friends who are with us this evening. So please join me in welcoming and thanking all of our significant others this evening. And looking at all of our significant others that are here this evening, wow, all of you are way above your league. Nice job. So as I reflect on the many challenges and accomplishments this past year, I can't help but think that 2017 for the Carson City Fire Department was a year of change. A significant amount of change took place in our organization. In 2017, we celebrated the retirement of 4 of our family members. Chief Shirey, I'm throwing you in 17. 3 of them were chief officers, and one of them was one of our senior captains. Together, they had over 120 years of experience that walked out of our door. That is impressive, and we will recognize each of them in a little bit later in this evening. While we embraced and celebrated the twilight of their careers, the organization also welcomed new members to the Carson City Fire Department. In fact, in just 1 year's time, there are 20 new members in our organization. 20 new people have joined this organization, and I count myself as lucky to be one of them. That is nearly 20% of our organization, less than a year here. That's pretty amazing. You talk about an opportunity to go where we want to go and be who we want to be as an organization. Now is absolutely that time. And we haven't stopped at retirees and new hires. I'm also pleased that we promoted 7 members of our organization to key leadership positions, from company officer to battalion chief. That is another significant and exciting opportunity for our organization. So to say 2017 was a year of change for Carson City Fire would be an absolute understatement. Personnel changes were not the only changes your Carson City Fire Department saw. We also embraced several new organizational changes and established new traditions, such as this evening. One of what I believe is our most significant accomplishment was through our negotiation process with Local 2251, and with the approval of our Board of Supervisors, we were able to bring on a basic life support ambulance that brought much needed relief and was a welcome addition to the Carson City Fire Department. That basic life support ambulance now provides service Monday through Friday on an 8-hour day and takes care of many of our transfers that our firefighter medics were doing on our rescues. I think yesterday, where did we go yesterday? Fallon? I think we went out to Fallon yesterday. So that's about a 2.5-hour commitment round trip that we would have been without one of our ALS firefighter medic rescue ambulances. So that is a huge addition to the organization. I couldn't be more proud that we have it, and I couldn't be more proud of how the organization has accepted those new members into our department and into our family. We were also successful in making a few organizational changes that included elevating the fire marshal's position to a battalion chief and adding a new fire inspector. From a history and pride point of view, several of our members established a historical badge numbering system, which we'll talk about in a little bit later this evening. Now, all of your Carson City firefighters have a number on their badge that indicates the seniority or the number in rank in that position specifically. And later this evening, we will recognize the most senior people, our senior firefighter, our senior driver operator, our senior captain, and then the senior person in our department. And they will be receiving special badges, and we'll talk about that in a little bit again. 2017 will also be remembered as the busiest year in Carson City Fire Department's history. We ran 10,803 incidents this last year, a 5% increase from the year before, and a continuing trend of about a 4 to 8% increase in annual call volume. But it's not the number of incidents that impresses me the most. What is truly remarkable is the high level of service, the pride, the professionalism that each of you demonstrate on these calls. We don't take what we do for granted, and we recognize that when we show up to somebody's house, they're often having their worst day. Whether it is a fire, a medical emergency, a vehicle accident, or a myriad of other emergencies, you treat everyone like they were a member of your family, with care, compassion, and professionalism. While I expect that high level of service, we all know that doesn't just happen. It comes through constant training, through teamwork, strong character, discipline, sacrifice, and compassion. This is what I call the servant's heart. And I'm proud to say I see a servant's heart every day in this organization, about 30 times each day. Now, I'm also a believer in past performances are predictors of our future behavior. And being a part of this great city and this amazing organization this past year, I know our future is bright. So please join me as I say thank you to all of you, and let's get this show started. So as we mentioned, we had 4 significant retirements this last year. We had a fire chief retire, Chief Shrehans, Captain John Easterling, Acting Deputy Chief John Arneson, and Battalion Chief Dan Shirey. Dan is the only one, I believe, that was able to make it this evening. I haven't seen any of the others here. So I'd ask Dan if you would please come up. So Chief Shirey has over 40 years of fire service experience. Not bad for being 42. But what I appreciated most about Chief Shirey is he welcomed me into this organization from day one, and you could see his passion and his love for this organization every single day. And Chief, you have left a positive, lasting impression on our organization, and I think you are somebody that we should all strive to look up to and appreciate. And I want to say thank you on behalf of all of your service to the city of Carson City and to our fire department. So with that, we have a certificate, and I'd like to.
Thank you so much.
Please join me in giving Chief Shirey a hand. So next, if I call your name, I'm going to ask that you kind of come up here and mill about and act like you know what you're doing and get in some sort of a formation. So I'd like to recognize everybody that was hired this year. So I'll skip me because I'm already up here. So Chief Vaughn, Ryan Bailey, Jesse Horton, Jesse Kohler. Go ahead, keep clapping. Nick Garcia. Justin Clayman. Garrett Hikus. Anil Ratty. Heath Burton. Michael Cox. Casey Drews, Rod Rummel, Shauna McManus, Cole Green, Jonathan Grillo, Nick Artam, Megan Sacaleros, Toby Steele, and Regina Barbero. This is your new 20%.
Number one in your heart, so.
And they're not shy either. So as I look at this interesting group up here, I mentioned earlier our future is bright, and I have no doubt the leadership of this organization is in good hands going forward from our future. Looking at our recently off probation firefighters and to our recently on probation firefighters, to our office clerks, to our patient care technicians, and to everybody up there. Thank you. Welcome to the family. Welcome to the organization. And may you have a wonderful and safe career. Thank you. Thank you. As we mentioned earlier, we also promoted a few people this past year. So I'd also ask the promotees that those that we were promoted this year, please come forward. So Battalion Chief Danon, Battalion Chief Raw, Battalion Chief Rubin, Captains Pedrini, Nyberg, Petty, and Denise Shull. Each one of these individuals have accepted roles in entry level or senior leadership positions in our organization. With that comes what we call the burden of command. And the first part of burden of command is they are responsible for the lives of their crews and those that they supervise as they go out and are responsible for the lives of our citizens. That is not an easy task. and that is a heavy heart that they have to go to bed with each night. They do an outstanding job, and they take excellent care of our crews, and I couldn't be happier for each one of you. Congratulations. As everybody is aware, the fire service has a long-standing tradition that if we recognize anybody, they are fair game to be giving a hard time. So I'm doing my best to get everybody up here to take the heat off of everybody. If I can now ask Deputy Chief Vaughn to come up. So this year, new to the organization, new to the organization is myself and Chief Vaughn, but that's not what we're going to talk about. We reinstituted a medal and awards program in our organization, and we both, and I think the entire organization shares this belief, but it is not always an easy job that we get to do. And sometimes, as I mentioned earlier, we see people on their worst days, and other times, we are able to make a significant difference in helping their worst days end, or at least get a little bit better as we go forward. And so it is important for any organization to recognize those significant events where we make an impact in somebody's life or make an impact on our organization. So this evening, we are going to reinstitute our medal awards ceremony and begin with recognizing several key members of this organization who have done some pretty outstanding things. And Chief Vaughn is going to start us off.
Thank you, sir. Well, good evening. I have the distinct honor and privilege to be representing the Service Awards Committee at this part of the ceremony. It's an amazing honor, and I hope we can get through this and I don't start crying. So. One of the most prestigious traditions the fire service has is for the fire department to recognize, commend, and honor our firefighters for their distinguished service, courageous acts of valor, extreme bravery in adverse conditions, or someone that performs with integrity and devotion in the course of the service, be it on duty or off. In keeping with this tradition, tonight we'll formally recognize and distinctly honor 4 of our Carson City Fire Department members for their seniority and rank, 8 for their meritorious conduct, and 5 members for saving lives. There are a total of 4 medals that the members are eligible to receive through citation and nomination. These awards are sacred, and the one specific to only the Carson City Fire Department, which some of our members are wearing this evening, is the Golden Axe. The department's highest award is the Medal of Valor. The second highest is the Medal for Bravery. Next is the Life-Saving Medal, and the 4th highest award is the Meritorious Conduct. I'd like to have the following members to report to the front of the stage to my left. Captain Albee, Captain Scott Baker, Captain Corey Petty, Captain Brad Mihelic, Driver Operator Brian Hunt, and Firefighter Jeff Linscott. These members have been nominated for the Meritorious Conduct Medal. In order to receive this Meritorious Conduct Medal and Commendation Bar, the firefighter must be a member of the Department of Good Standing who performs a notable act of distinction in the performance of duty and reflects the integrity and devotion shown by the recipient. The following notable acts of distinction that qualified Captain Dan Albee, Captain Scott Baker, Captain Corey Petty, Captain Brad Mihelic, Driver Operator Brian Hunt, Firefighter Dan Gelbman, and Firefighter Jeff Linscott for the Meritorious Conduct Medal were the following. On 2 separate but very sorrowful moments in the history of the Carson City Fire Department, these members provided honor regard of the fallen, logistics for their families, and involved numerous members to support and care for the families of those who have left us. Battalion Chief Chesnowski and Sheriff Deputy Howe. Now we will present each member with a medal of meritorious conduct. Driver Operator Saunders has been nominated for the Meritorious Conduct Medal. The following notable acts of distinction that qualified Driver Operator Sam Saunders for the Meritorious Conduct Medal are for his numerous hours on and off duty working on capturing specific identities in fire department history, those being the creation of historic challenge coins, individual badge and helmet shield numbering, and the overall implementation of a traditional identification for our members now and for the future. I'd like to ask firefighter paramedic Jim White to report to the front of the stage. That's it. Just wanted to show you off. Firefighter paramedic White has been nominated for the Life-Saving Medal. In order to receive the Life-Saving Medal, the firefighter must be a member of the Department of Good Standing who is principally involved in saving the life of another person whose personal actions were directly responsible for the Life-Saving Act. The personal actions that were directly responsible for the Life-Saving Act that qualified firefighter paramedic White for the Life-Saving Medal is the following. In November of 2013, firefighter White was off duty and driving through the city of Carson. While sitting in a stoplight, he noticed an uncontrolled car travel through the intersection. The driver of the vehicle had experienced a medical emergency and lost the capacity to safely operate the vehicle. The vehicle crashed over a curb and slammed into a building. Firefighter White proceeded through the intersection and proceeded to help the victim. Firefighter White entered the vehicle at great personal risk to himself to help stabilize the unresponsive patient's cervical spine and airway. Firefighter White cared for the patient and made sure that the citizen was safe until on-duty firefighters could arrive to take care of the patient and transfer him to the hospital for physical evaluation. Jim is an exemplary firefighter and a role model for all of us. Jim will be receiving the first Life-Saving Award this evening. I'd like to request firefighter Travis Boggs to report to the front of the stage. Firefighter Travis Boggs has been nominated for 2 life-saving medals. The personal actions that were directly responsible for the life-saving acts that qualified firefighter Boggs for the life-saving medals are the following. The first citation, November of 2008, while off duty, firefighter Boggs provided care to an injured teen that had been struck by a falling tree. The teen was cutting firewood with his father, and one of the trees fell and struck the boy and caused a major head injury. The father drove the teen to an unstaffed volunteer fire station and began shouting for help. Firefighter Boggs was off duty and in the same area installing rain gutters on a residence and heard the shouting and ran over to the father and son. He quickly assessed, treated, coordinated air transport, and rode with the local volunteer firefighters and ambulance to the landing zone. Although he does have some deficits, meaning the boy, not Travis. The young man is doing well. He graduated in 2016 from Douglas High School and is now attending West Nevada College full-time and is helping coach the high school girls varsity basketball team. The second citation, in April of 2015, while on duty, firefighter Boggs, as part of Engine Company 52, responded to a structure fire at Loma Linda Drive. They arrived on scene with fire and smoke showing from the Alpha Delta side and were told that there were possibly multiple victims. Firefighter Boggs and his captain made entry and found the house fully charged with smoke. After quickly knocking down the fire and providing extinguishment, during their primary search, they found a teenage boy lying on his bed in his room, unaware of what was going on. Firefighter Boggs carried the semi-conscious teenager to the front door and initiated basic life support. The teenager was transported with minor smoke inhalation and was released the same day. Firefighter Boggs receiving the Life-Saving Medal with the number 2 this evening. Captain Brad Mihalik, please report to the front stage. Captain Mihalik has been nominated for the life-saving medal. The personal actions that were directly responsible for the life-saving acts that qualified Captain Mihalik for the life-saving medal are the following. In September of 2008, while on duty and waiting at a stoplight in one of the rescue ambulances, Captain Mihalik witnessed a young child riding her tricycle out into traffic. Captain Mihalik quickly jumped out of the rescue and grabbed her in seconds before she would have been hit by an oncoming car. Outstanding. Captain Mihalik will be receiving a life-saving. Driver operator Brian Hunt to report to the front of the stage. Driver operator Hunt has been nominated for the life-saving medal. The personal actions that were directly responsible for the life-saving acts that qualified driver operator Hunt for the life-saving medal are the following. In September of 2011, while off duty, driver operator Hunt and his family were spectators at the Reno air races. Moments after Operator Hunt left his section, a modified P-51 named the Galloping Ghost suddenly shot upward, rolled to the right, and plunged out of a narrow loop to crash just in front of the viewing sections. Driver Operator Hunt sprang into action, providing aid to multiple victims, and even rode in the back of an ambulance to the hospital, assisting with the treatment of the patient. In total, there were 11 deaths and 69 injuries. If it wasn't for Driver Operator Hunt's actions and the bystanders that were in the area and their quick actions, the death toll could have been much higher. Driver Operator Hunt will be receiving a life-saving medal. I'd like to request Firefighter Cooper to the front of the stage. Cooper's already received the life-saving medal and he is wearing it proudly on his chest. He was honored in a previous ceremony earlier in 2017. The personal actions that were directly responsible for the life-saving act that qualified Firefighter Cooper for the life-saving medal were the following. Firefighter Cooper and his wife, along with a family friend, were boating on the Stampede Reservoir. At some point through the day, they saw a boat that had been involved in an accident. They went over to the area and saw that a young child had been bobbing in the water. They made a rescue and then assisted for the search for the second victim that drowned subsequently. In the days and weeks later, Firefighter Cooper and family members helped others and other officials to find the second child, which brought total closure for all the families that are involved. Firefighter Cooper received the life-saving medal.
So pretty impressive. You saw a glimpse of what your Carson City firefighters do day in, day off, on duty or off duty. In essence, we are always on duty. And that is one of those true character traits that makes any firefighter, but is certainly recognized that it makes a Carson City firefighter. The duty to act, the willing to put themselves into harm's way. And again, whether that is on duty or off duty, and I'm absolutely honored to have been a part of this. As we transition into our next moment, we're going to recognize the senior members of our organization. Seniority in the fire department is a big deal. I guess if you stick around long enough, everybody gets it, but that's kind of the joke about seniority. But the reality is, the senior firefighter in each position is the one we look up to. It is the one that sets the pace for the organization, sets the pace for their company, and the one we always look up to. And that is the one that usually grabs you by the ear when you're young and wet in this organization and kind of shows you the ropes. And it's the last one you want to see grab you by the ear when you messed up. You'd much rather be in front of your captain than the senior firefighter or senior driver operator in those instances. These the badges that we have this evening were the work of several members of the organization, and Sam Saunders certainly took the lead on this. And kind of as the saying goes, when a new fire chief comes in, the fire chief has a honeymoon period, and they can kind of work their board of supervisors to get a few extra things out of them because they're the new fire chief. However, Sam recognized that there's a honeymoon period for the entire organization, and they could probably work the fire chief over and get a few things out of him for the organization. Sam's been very good at that this year. But I couldn't be more proud of the pride that Sam has in this organization and the history that he has recognized in this organization. And we talked a little bit about it earlier, but Sam and his group researched every single paid member in this organization, researched it all the way back to the origins of the organization, and started establishing seniority and badge numbers there. And that is not an easy undertaking. It took a lot of research. It took a tremendous amount of time. But the fruits of that labor are here this evening. Tonight we will recognize the senior person in the organization, our senior firefighter, our senior driver operator, and our senior captain. So recognizing first, I'd like to ask Captain Scott Baker to come up to the podium. Scott is a captain in our organization, and he is the senior member of our organization, and he has been on the job with Carson City since 1990. Hey, I started before that, so don't do that. So, Captain Baker, it is my honor to present you with the senior member of the organization badge. So some of the things that set these badges apart that we're awarding this evening, they're uniquely different than our standard issue badges. They're embossed in blue rather than the black that is on our regular badges. It's to identify those senior members in the organization and to highlight and to recognize their service to our organization. So as you are out in the streets, if you see somebody with a blue background on their badge, you can recognize that they are a senior member in our organization or in that rank. Next, I'd like to bring up the best looking guy in the fire department, Senior Firefighter Jim White. Sorry, Travis, it was really close. And if we could have his son, PJ, please come up. That too. Yeah. Part of being a firefighter, we take our physical fitness serious, so the reason for all the standing ovations so we can get our squats in today. Next, I'd like to bring up our senior driver operator, Mr. Travis Howe. If he's, yeah, he is here. He's been running calls all day. And last but not least, if he is our acting battalion chief back there somewhere. Oh, there he is. Our senior captain, Captain Matt Donnelly. Matt has been a captain in our organization since 2004.
Kevin Nyberg.
And he would like Kevin Nyberg to please come on up. Captain Nyberg. Thanks, Chief.